how to overcome a fat loss plateau. Now, we're going to be breaking this video down into two kind of subtopics. The first one is how to diagnose a fat loss plateau, because a lot of people get this very, very wrong. And then the second will be how to overcome this fat loss plateau once you have correctly diagnosed it. First of all, we need to know how to properly diagnose a fat loss plateau, because a lot of people get this wrong. A true fat loss plateau is a period of time longer than 2 to 3 weeks without a new low weight. A fat loss plateau is a period of time longer than 2 to 3 weeks without a new low weight. Not 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, or even 12 days. Longer than 2 to 3 weeks. And the reason for this is, in a 1 week period, you can lose anywhere between 1 to 2 pounds of body fat sustainably. However, you can gain 1 to 3 to 4 pounds of water overnight. Okay, so a whole week to lose 1 to 2 pounds of body fat, yet you can gain 2, 3, or even 4 pounds of water overnight, which means that you can lose a substantial amount of body fat in a week or two, and it may not even show on the scales. It's happening. It's just being masked by water weight. Water weight from varying levels of hydration, sodium, stored glycogen, hormones. Those are just 4 examples of many. People very often misdiagnose a fat loss plateau. So again, longer than a period of 2 to 3 weeks without a new low weight. Now, if you meet that criteria, for lack of a better word, then how do we actually overcome this fat loss plateau? So this is really simple. If you go longer than 2 to 3 weeks without a new low weight, you are consuming too many calories for what you actually technically need in order to elicit fat loss. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're tracking what you eat and your calories look like they're perfect. That means there is a discrepancy within your tracking. Just because you're tracking 1,300 calories or counting 1,300 calories doesn't mean you're actually eating 1,300 calories. First of all, there is a kind of room for error on nutritional labels, which can comprise of quite a large number. On top of that, unless you are weighing and measuring everything you eat, unless you are inputting every single recipe, you are not going to be 100% accurate. And that 1,300 calories could easily be 1,600 or 1,700. Or your 1,500 calories that you think you're eating could easily be 1,900 calories. I'm not just spouting nonsense here. This has actually been found in studies. There have been studies within large groups of participants that have found that people underreport their calories by an average of 430 calories. 430. Regardless of whether you're counting calories, if you're not losing weight, calories are too high. And even if you're not counting calories, that's fine, because I know lots of people don't, and that's fine. But whether you are counting calories or not, calories still count. They still matter. And if you are going over 2 to 3 weeks without seeing this new low weight, then calories are too high. End of. There is no other scenario. There are very few things that impact energy balance in a negative way. Energy balance being calories in versus calories out. PCOS used to be seen as being something that did negatively impact calorie expenditure and therefore fat loss, but that has been disproven. PCOS actually has minimal to zero impact on metabolism and a reduction of calorie expenditure. And that's been proven. Okay, it's not my opinion. That has actually been proven. Okay, the only thing that can impact fat loss is undiagnosed or under-medicated hyperthyroidism, so low thyroid levels. And this has an impact in regards to reducing resting metabolic rate or basal metabolic rate. They're the same thing depending on where in the world you're at, but it reduces your basal or resting metabolic rate, and therefore causing a massive decrease in calorie expenditure, therefore making fat loss slower. Does it mean fat loss is impossible? Absolutely not. There is still going to be a point at which you are able to achieve a calorie deficit. It just might be a little bit slower. To summarize what we've just gone through, first of all, learn how to properly diagnose a fat loss plateau over 2 to 3 weeks without a new low weight. How to overcome that fat loss plateau. Nice and simple. The law of thermodynamics, how the principles of fat loss is so simple. In order to elicit fat loss, resulting in your desired weight loss, you must consume fewer calories than what your body expends. There's no cheat. There's no shortcut. There is no other way of losing body fat. Every diet, whether it be keto, paleo, Atkins, Weight Watchers, doesn't matter what diet, Nutrisystem, they are all different methods of creating a calorie deficit, whether calories are even mentioned or not. Doesn't matter what dieting approach you follow. If you are not in a calorie deficit, you will not lose weight. All right.